3, 2, 1.
Thanks, James, and welcome to Practical Inclusion for this school holiday edition. I have some incredible guests with me today. I am very lucky, probably the most famous guests I've had yet, perhaps, or at least they might be after this session. Before we start, I will acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast from today, which is the land of the Wadawurrung people, and pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islanders that may be watching us live or on the replay today. So I have with me
Skye, James.
And how old are you, Skye?
7.
And James?
7.
Wow. And we're going to talk a little bit about inclusion today, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what inclusion is?
Including people.
Inclusion is sort of just another word for including.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what does including mean?
Including means if someone is looking down or like they're sitting down and they seem bored, you can ask them, hey, do you want to play? And they might play.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good answer. Skye, what do you think?
Well, if someone's just, if someone asks you if they want to play with you, I'm pretty sure you should include them because then they'll feel happy and they'll feel included.
Cool, excellent, and James agrees. Now, we've had a comment already here, kids. It says, hi, Bree and Skye and James, and it's from, can you read that?
Soph Margaret.
Yeah, from your auntie. Say hi.
Hi, Auntie.
So the next question I was going to ask you, and this is the only other question we've practiced, so after this it's free for all, but I did ask both of you earlier, is there such a thing as girls' things and boys' things?
No, because I can like cars and James can like ponies.
But in a way, there some things with some people do believe that there are girls and boys things, but there is nothing apart from girls and boys toilets. So apart from that, there's basically nothing in their common difference.
Yeah.
So that's a good point there, James. So sometimes there's only girls and boys toilets, aren't there?
Yeah.
And that keeps everybody separate.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any problem with that sometimes? No?
Sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because it can like keep you apart from your friends and you might not know if they get hurt.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And like if pretend like one of my friends that are a boy got hurt, I wouldn't be able to go in and help them wash themselves up and
Yeah, okay. Yeah, interesting point. So one of the other things that we have talked about in the past maybe sometimes is everybody a boy or a girl?
no. Because there can be
Non-binary people
yeah.
are also a girl, are
Yeah.
not a girl or a boy.
They're just
They're
a person.
They can be both or they can be a person.
They're just a person, and we're all just people, aren't we?
Everyone has their own different ways of things.
Oh, I like the way you've said that, James. Do you want to talk about that a bit more? Everybody, what did you say? Everybody
has their own ways to do things.
Yeah.
Like some people may do things differently. Like Skye and me do all things differently. Not everyone. Some people do the same thing, but they do it
In their
exactly.
way. Yeah,
They
and
don't do
sometimes
the
they do the same move, but they do it in their way. So they can do it in their way or they can do it in their friend's way.
Yeah.
But it's best you do it in your way.
Yeah.
I can't add anything more to this. really is amazing. I think you two can take my job for me. I think you do a good job at that. All right, let's ask something else. And you've already answered my next question too. All right, let's ask this one. When you do get older or when people are older and they might fall in love, who can they fall in love with?
Anybody. Like, I could fall in love with a girl and James could fall in love with a boy.
Yeah. Do you think that too? Anybody?
Anyone can fall in love with anyone. So it's basically just like sort of in a way, they're just sort of related in a way.
That's cool. You're just reading the screen there, aren't you? And we had another comment saying, you two are explaining things so well. It would be so boring if everybody was the same. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep, Auntie.
Okay, now on that same topic then, let's talk about your families. James, who's in your family?
In my family, I have 2 mums, 1 donor, and if you aren't intrigued or you don't know what a donor is, a donor or an egg donor are people who help make the baby that you are making in your tummy. There's an egg donor that holds the egg and a donor that holds the sperm. They hold different parts, but together they can be used to make babies. And then eventually the babies will grow up, and some babies might even make their own babies.
Fantastic. And so you said that you had 2 mummies and a donor in your family. And
a cousin.
And a cousin.
An auntie.
Yeah.
I have about 5, maybe.
Yeah, great. And what about you, Skye?
Well, I have my brother, you, and Dad, and my nan on top, my aunties, my uncles.
Yeah, lots of people in your families, both of you.
Same.
Yeah, that's great. All right, and in your family, James, are there some people who can use Auslan, and what is Auslan?
Auslan is a different type of way. Some people are deaf, not like the deaf you think of it now. Not deaf as in a dead body.
Deaf. Yep.
Deaf as in they can't hear what you're saying. So you actually have to do this sort of sign. It's called Auslan, and it's when you don't talk but you use your hands to like sign it.
Awesome. And can you sign as well?
I'm not very good at signing, but I can sign.
Mm.
It takes quite a bit of practice.
Yeah, it does. I've been learning on Auslan too recently, and it takes a lot of practice. It's pretty tricky sometimes.
I learned my basics from Prep.
Okay. And what did you just say then?
I just said that's how you can say happy birthday. I still need to practice on my words, and I still need to practice on happy birthday as well. I've learned some of the basics, but I've still got quite a bit to go.
I think that's a great start, and it's a really good skill to have, isn't it? So that we can make sure that everybody can understand us. And it is a bit tricky, but it's also pretty simple to learn too, isn't it? If you just take the time. Takes a bit of time.
It can take a little bit of time, but eventually you'll get better at it.
Yeah, excellent. All right, let's ask another question. Can a girl have short hair?
Yes.
Yes.
Look at my hair and look at my mum's hair.
Okay, next.
I've seen a boy with
Long hair.
curls and stuff.
Yeah. And so boys can have long hair too.
Yeah.
What colour can boys like pink?
Yes. Like one of my friends like pink and he's a boy.
Yeah. And do you find sometimes at school, is it hard for boys who like pink?
No.
No. Kids don't really care.
No.
Maybe that's a bit of an adult thing, hey? Do you think sometimes adults care more about those things than kids?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think because they're a little older, so they care about it.
Yeah, that's very wise. Good point. All right, so do we have any questions from the audience? I can see a few people are listening in. If you've got a question, type it in. Kids, do you have any questions?
No.
No?
Yes.
Yes?
How many? If you counted up all the members in your family, how many do you think you would have?
Ooh, that's a tricky question because it probably depends who you say your family is, because sometimes friends are family and you can have a broader family.
Just like in your main family.
Main family. Well, for me, it'd be Skye and Toby and my mum and dad and my sister and her partner. Yeah? All right, so we've got no other questions for the kids coming through, so we might wrap up. Oh, hang on, we've got one question. I'm wondering how teachers can make kids feel included. What do you think?
I think I know how teachers make kids included because teachers, well, they help kids include other kids, and teachers do that a lot because most
kids
need to be included.
Yeah. So
I
you think your
think-
teachers are pretty good at that?
I think the teachers, the way they learn it is because they were kids from the teachers, then they taught it to the kids, and then the adults try their best, but they can't do it too much. Sometimes they have to just go angry about it.
Oh,
Can
sometimes
happen
they get, well, that's a pretty good point, James, because adults are people too, aren't they? And sometimes they can get angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Skye, when you've seen teachers include other kids, what does that look like?
Well, a teacher's usually holding a kid on the back and then just asking another kid if that kid can play with that other kid that's not included.
Yeah.
There you go.
So paying attention when there's kids that are missing out.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh, we've got some more questions here now.
Quite a few.
Quite a few. Yeah. So Carolyn said, I want to know how you two kids got so clever.
By listening to the instructions that our teachers gave us.
Yes.
Pretty good answer. All right. And how do you know if someone is not feeling included?
Well,
You can tell
by their face and their feelings.
You can't always tell by the face. Sometimes people might be looking down, but they actually seem just too excited that they could be sad. They could be too excited, so they could be sad.
Yeah.
Maybe too much excited is what made them sad.
That's a good point, James, because everybody works really differently, like we spoke before, didn't we?
Everybody really works.
Yeah, so you can notice different things that make them look like they're not included. All right, and here's another one. What should you do when people or kids aren't inclusive in a group or school? What can you do to help? If you see that other kids aren't including people, what can you do to help?
You could include them in the game.
Yeah. You could include the people who are missing out.
Mm-hmm.
Any other ideas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone was looking down, you could take their back or take their hand and look after them, and maybe like make up a game together.
Make up a game together.
And you can play it.
Love it. Oh, excellent. Thanks for the question, Caroline. All right, last question we have, and then we better wrap this up. What's one thing that you want adults to know about anything? What do you wish adults knew? Gotcha. Tricky question. Is there something you think?
How to have fun.
Yeah, how to have fun.
Oh, that's a great answer. We've all got to remember how to have fun, don't we? Just like you kids always find ways to have fun. There we go. All right, so Skye's reminded me that I did forget to ask a question that I promised that I would ask, which was,
what do you want to be when you grow up?
what do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I don't need to worry about that right now because I'm enjoying my life being a kid.
Same. I'm happy just being a kid. I want to stay a kid.
Yeah.
Then I can just live forever. Yippee, and I can always have fun.
Yeah.
Oh, if only, that would be wonderful. All
If
right.
only that was a thing, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
For sure. Great answer.
We cannot answer all of these questions. There were too many, as a fact.
There are some more coming through.
Too many. Too many.
All right, we better wrap this up and let you all get back to your either holidays or work day or whatever it is that you're doing now. And I will post this up if you want to share it around with some captions. And James, your mum has just jumped on and said, well done, James and Skye. And I think you've been such good guests. So thank you so much for coming on my show.